Yo, happy Saturday or happy Sunday for folks who are probably like
At
around
18
the
minutes.
around the coast or world. And yeah, we are back for another fun episode of Have You Met? And we are joined by the prolific and awesome content creator Chillmonger. How have you been, my guy?
I have been chilling. I've been mongering. I'm doing good here in Canada. Avoiding all that
Oh,
American
I
stuff.
didn't know
You
you were in
know?
Canada.
Oh, I am not an American. I'm not a south of the borderian.
Okay, cool. I know some friends in Canada there. I have another. Hopefully, I have another new one. I've seen you around. We've interacted a little bit like at chats, but I've never like ever talked to you on a stream. That's why Ray was like, Chillmonger. I know Chillmonger. I'm like, well, I haven't really met him yet. So I mean, I know your content. I think I'm a subscriber. I know you're really passionate about the recast T'Challa
Yeah.
fandom. Very much so. Yeah, really quick, I want to give folks a heads up. So we're gonna shoot for some of like the major topics, like a lot of what Chillmonger covers on his channel. We're gonna get into that, especially around comic books and comic book movies, character adaptations of popular IPs, and yeah, just like the state of movie talk too, and some of the things that inspires him as a content creator. And yeah, we'll let her rip for about an hour or so. But yeah, as far as like an introduction to our guest of honor, Chillmonger, want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hard to do because I keep to myself like a lot of personal stuff. But I am a Canadian. I started making YouTube videos with an Ironheart comic book review because I found that everyone
Okay.
reviewing that comic was, if you're familiar with Comicsgate, you guys. Yeah,
Unfortunately,
and they had a little bit of a reputation of being anti-inclusionary, and I'm like,
yes.
listen, there needs to be a review of this comic, and it needs to not come from a place of hate. And it was a new character, so I didn't have to worry about all of the 100 years of 60 years of Marvel continuity. So I felt good covering that, and I kind of got started with more comics and covered the movie stuff, grew and grew. But you asked me about myself. See, I went straight to the content, Rhea, because I really don't like giving you guys information about myself. I really want to keep that to myself.
Whatever
Okay.
you're comfortable with. That's actually a good setup for our discussion. So a lot of things that you're passionate about and what really inspires you, that's definitely something we want to, hear more about from you. So yeah, continue.
I would say I'm passionate about representation in our media.
Okay.
And I've slowly become, I guess, radicalized is probably the closest correct word. But I've gone to notice these tropes and these continual fatherless characters in Disney,
Okay.
projects. And I'm like, okay, something's got to change. I need to talk about that more often. And slowly but surely, my content is more there. I'm doing something about it. I am planning to release a comic book. I am in the works of issue one. Okay, issue two is coming out also, and issue three will be produced before I even sell issue number one. Because why? I want to be able to give an, a release that is monthly or that is frequently. I don't want to be like one of the. I've seen everyone else do it. I've seen all the
Yeah.
YouTubers announce something
It's more
and
about
make
the
money and
grift first, and then come to the potential grift first. Get the money instead of figuring out the details till later.
Exactly. If it's so important to me, then why haven't I just put the money up myself? And that's the question I've been asking about some of our other peers here on this. No hate, but I've noticed, and so I'm doing that. I'm gonna like produce a couple of issues, and then yes, the money's from that. Hey, what's up, CJH? The money from there will fund the next issue and the next issue, and then one day we put it on TV, and then one day I'm gonna be casting Max and Rhea in the film.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna be in it.
You can be in it.
Awesome. No, I didn't know you were developing That's great. I give a lot of respect, regardless of a lot of respect for be creatives.
Yeah.
Doing it yourself, putting your money where your mouth is. Well, maybe not the money yet, but putting the work where your mouth is.
Oh, the
And
money
then
has been put up, and the
okay.
work is up there too.
And
And
then I do respect your strategy to make sure you don't have people just waiting for content too. Once you're developing second, third issues too, and then you're gonna make sure it's consistent, releases and consistent content. That's awesome.
Because people have heard time and time again, well, it really requires this much pay. It really requires this much support. Bro, then you're doing it to get paid. You're not doing it because you care about the representation so much. And that's that. Or your fiction so much. Sometimes
I would toe the line to be respectful. No, not personal details, but since you're so passionate about representation and comics, can you share how that started when you were younger? Like what got you started? Was there some of the comics that you like, oh, this does representation good, or some character when you're growing up? What do you think started first for you?
I think this guy, Static, was probably that. Like,
okay, awesome.
On screen.
I can't wait until they adapt him on screen live action.
I have actually been extremely disappointed with DC, how they keep promoting that they're going to do something with that character at all these, like the DC fandom and stuff, and they've been consistently letting that down. I've called that out myself. I'm like, you keep using this almost as like potentially like a virtue signal. We're going to work with Black creators and comic book creators, and we're going to make this, and they have left that on the floor so long, and that's a very well, as far as I know, I haven't delved deep in Static Shock. I know a lot of people love that character, the creators that created the character too, and they've consistently let that character down. I think the last Chill do you know anything about Michael? Was Michael B. Jordan working with that too recently, or is there any progress on this?
He was attached to it, but ever since the James Gunn Peter Safran thing, they all just like haven't spoken on it or gave a statement on it. Well, you know, we all know what's really happening. Superman Legacy is taking priority, and to be honest, if you're starting over from scratch, I get why Superman has to happen first. We saw your little chapter. Okay, I'm so disrespectful. We saw chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. We saw it. Okay, nothing had anything to do with Static. So yes, it's been put to the back burner, and we just have to accept it. They could do a video game. They could do because James Gunn did say video game, and I think that would be great because a video game means that you don't actually have to cast a human who's going to get old, so you can keep him young, kind of thing. But just make it in canon with the DCU. There's different ways they can attack it.
Was that one of the? I'm sorry, Ray. I'll ask a lot of questions because
No, you do it. I'm excited.
I'm intrigued by Static Shock. That's a character that I've wanted to get into. I've seen like one animated episode. So that was one of the first characters that really spoke to you. Like, oh, this is a cool character. That's the one that drew you in, Static Shock.
No, it didn't draw me in. I was watching that just like I was watching Pokemon, just like I was watching Ninja
Turtles. The animated show is what started for you then.
Yeah, that was my.
That was the gateway to Static Shock. That was the gateway.
Yeah, it was the gate. It wasn't the gateway. I was always. There was never a time I wasn't into whatever superhero was on TV because I'm a boy and I'm just like watching crashing and superheroes and tights and stuff. So I loved all of them: Spider-Man, Justice League, everybody. But when it comes to the representation thing, like I guess the Black Power Rangers from Turbo.
Okay.
TJ, he was a phenomenal like representative that I can look back at now and go, I wasn't thinking about it then. Yeah, it was a good show. I wasn't thinking about it then, but isn't it cool how we had a Red Ranger who was like the leader and it was TJ and it was great.
Oh, cool. Power Rangers. So a lot of cartoon animation too was got you then there. Got you started too. I could respect that. I think Static Shock may have made a cameo on Spider-Man or something. I think that's where I first remember, like, who's this character? It was on some. What show was it?
No, he was there was a Justice League crossover with Static.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I'm mixing them up. Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, my nerd card is revoked. That's DC and Marvel. Yes, Justice League was the one.
I think I understand where the mix-up was because for the longest time I didn't realize that Static Shock was like a DC property or like a WB property that is being incorporated into the DC universe. So that's something that was a revelation later on in life for me too.
Yeah. So through watching these shows, being interested, I always liked the comic book shows, but then there was some stuff like Avatar, which is not a comic book show, but it was still hype, like the Netflix app. I mean, the Nickelodeon Avatar. And that kind of molded me, like all of these kind of shows that a typical boy would watch. There's some anime like Naruto, Boruto up there too, that Death Notes, things like that have influenced me. I like thinking, I like fights. And here I am. The MCU becomes a thing in 2008. I watched the first movie on a bootleg, and I remember where I was sitting when I watched Iron Man, and I saw every single movie since then. Maybe on Netflix here, but I haven't missed one in theaters since Civil War.
No, definitely. I for sure want to get into that topic with you as far as like the state of comic book movies and kind of like the subjective fluctuation in content originality and execution and things like that. Since you've been such an active voice and contributor in that conversation around comic book movies and comic book media in general. So yeah, like you mentioned that you haven't missed a theatrical release of any Marvel movie since Civil War. So how's your journey or analysis or like thoughts around the MCU in general been shaped over the last like few years?
What did Deadpool say in the movie? He said, "Wolverine, you're joining, but we're kind of at a low right now."
That was such a self-aware movie. I was shocked, how fourth wall breaking it was. But I guess that's the character. Deadpool like breaks the fourth wall a lot.
Yeah, but it's nothing you've never heard before. Like we all know that some of these movies have been missed. Now, some people like Eternals, but then there's also people who go, "No Way Home was cheap and it really got nothing." Like everyone's gonna have their selection of what is good and what is bad. But more of us are saying Thor: Love and Thunder sucked and Quantumania was a waste of money. There's more of us taking issue with the recent releases, and I'm sort of there too. I might say like 3 of them stink. Eternals. I didn't like Black Widow that much. What else was there in Phase 5? Quantumania was all right.
That was the low point for me. I really didn't like. Besides Jonathan Majors as King, I liked that part, but the rest of the movie was just. I have a hard time watching it.
Guardians 3 might be their best one, right?
Oh,
I really
Phase 5?
enjoyed Guardians 3. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Phase 5.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, you're acknowledging that maybe like Phase 5 is probably the most reflective of the quote unquote low point or something that is reflective of kind of like a challenging stage in Marvel MCU sort of content where it's unclear where they're going to go or how they're going to recover and bounce back into like, their legacy or pantheon of greatness that started them out,
They had the film rights to the X-Men 5 years ago, and we still haven't seen an X-Men movie. I don't know what this guy thought, Kevin Feige thought he could do with his franchise and just make money with. You can't. Captain Marvel 2, they only grossed $204 million worldwide. That's atrocious. There's no excuse for that. There is excuse. It was during the actor strike, and Brie Larson couldn't promote. But aside from that, there's no excuse for that.
I want to see the X-Men too, but I do think it's helped with given a little bit of breathing room between the Fox versions and this one, and they are starting to introduce it now. So if you're really looking forward to the X-Men, what characters do you want to see well done? Like
Probably, every time you say something, I'm going to reach over for a comic book.
Storm.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, definitely.
That's what I was thinking because yes, Storm has. I like all the X-Men movies. Most of them I like, but I will admit Storm has been underserved for quite some time. Her character wasn't done, and they had Halle Berry. She was very capable of delivering a lot more. They really did not use her to best abilities. So.
Nah, and she got that Oscar in 2002, so you would think, okay, in the next X-Men, she'll be really... No, she did not get that treatment. But yeah, this is a different time. And however sensitive you guys may be to this, there's the check boxes. There's women and there's black. Storm satisfied, all in one character. She satisfied both of those for as far as like, are we doing enough screen time to that demographic? Then there's a really, really, really high chance that she'll actually be a top X-Men. Maybe not number 1, maybe number 2 or number 3 on the casting. There's a good chance she won't be shafted like the old X-Men movies, all 10 of them she's been in.
Who would be some of your picks for the actress? Because I could get into all like, the rich discussions I've had with you and other folks on your channels, especially around, I don't want to get too much into it, but colorism for sure is something that, is an enriching topic. I can get an amazing, discussion from you on your channel. But anyway, Dreamcast for Storm. Go.
We don't have to call it colorism. We just have to call it accurate casting. The character has dark skin. She's of Kenyan descendancy, and that country is really close to the equator. You get somebody like Jamie Lawson. Is that her from the Batman? She was the mayor candidate, Jamie Lawson. That actress.
Oh yeah.
That's the one that I'm thinking about. She's young. She's dark enough, funny, but she's also an actor who I can see do the role and bring that and command a sort of respect to her. Now, some people don't like when you mix DC characters with actors with Marvel actors. Too late. Yeah, Abdul Mateen, Jimon Hansu. Who's that guy with? Who's that guy in Creature Commandos? Oh, Skull Bones. What's his name?
Oh, Deadshot. Is that who it is?
Nah.
Or no. The other guy who replaced Deadshot, Max, from the second Suicide Squad movie. Gosh, I'm blanking.
For us. But the guy who was in the Captain America 2, and he was in the third one, and he dies in the beginning.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about Idris Elba.
What was Idris Elba in DC? Oh yeah,
he was in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of.
That was another character who was DC and Marvel. Yes, Bloodsport. Sorry, Deadshot is Will Smith. My apologies. Yeah.
No. Don't be mad for making that mistake. We made that mistake for a reason.
Yeah, because he essentially came in to quote unquote replace or kind of be a stand-in for that blank space that Will Smith wasn't there for. Okay, but yeah, that's actually a really good segue. I'm sorry.
Naomi Harris is the fan casting I would do.
Can you remind us what project she's been in that we might have heard of or watched?
Pirates of the Caribbean. She was that like woman who sounded like Rihanna.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Naomi Harris was in a movie with Tyrese, I think, Black and Blue. That's her most recent film. She said she's like retiring and she'll only do special projects. One of those Jim Carrey retirements. I'm really gone, but you'll be back.
Yeah.
Is Jim Carrey in Sonic 3?
Yes, yeah, he is. He plays two characters. Eggman and Dr. Robotnik.
Oh, God. Yeah, I should have guessed that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that movie comes out next month, I think. I'm really excited. And
look, it got me back because the second movie was just okay for me, but the third trailer was just amazing, and I like Keanu. I really like that they got him for Shadow. The voice. Yeah, that
was a big fan casting for a while. So yeah.
Keanu has his finger on the pulse, or at least someone next to him does.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like his agent, or just agent, like his team? His team.
He's usually. I mean, there was some period of time where he wasn't in hit movies, but he's usually in with the trends for a long time now.
Yeah, he has this like cult following, like me included. Like I think like a lot of us, have like a favorite Keanu depiction. Like we don't really lean into, he's the same character in like every like IP, but I think that's part of his charm. Like how Nick Cage is like known for being Nick Cage, and John Travolta is like, John Travolta in like every movie. So I think he's one of those folks that like you can't really unsee that person is. He can't really get into character because you're just like, that's Keanu Reeves being Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves will always be my maybe. Was a unique character. He was a douchebag date.
You think he's a douchebag? Really?
He was. He played one. He was the douchiest of douchebags and always be my maybe.
Oh, really?
Oh, I didn't see that movie, so I wasn't sure. I thought he was playing like a satirical version of himself.
Maybe he was.
But yes, okay, so I actually did want to give a quick, sort of nod to your other interests, which include, I've actually done like a few podcasts with you and DL and Yellow Does It, and yeah, that was like an amazing, like four voices, including me on the podcast that y'all surprised me as far as like your your fandom and support of like, Sonic the Hedgehog, Fast and Furious for sure. That one was like a curveball for sure. And obviously, I've talked to you about like Pokemon for sure with other folks too. But anyway, yeah, you're a big Fast and Furious fan, huh?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's good. Like, I know we're all supposed to be upset that there was duct tape in space, but just get with the program. We're having fun. The cars drive fast.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a family.
I'm on board with like just sitting back and enjoying the roller coaster ride, but it just doesn't. Fast and Furious just doesn't click for me. Although I've checked out, I have to go revisit the more recent ones. Okay. I can't remember where I checked out. Probably like 4 or 5.
No, it's okay. You don't have to remember things like who died. It's Fast and Furious. They're all alive, family.
Yeah.
Did you watch that spinoff with The Rock and Jason Statham? I forget what it was called. Yeah, I think a lot of people forgot.
It was Hobbs and Shaw. It was all right though. They was like Idris Elba was the villain there, and he kept saying that I'm Superman, and he was Superman. It's in the same universe, but no one brought it up in the Fast and Furious films that came after Hobbs and Shaw's. Nobody brings up that there was this literal like gassed super soldier, like genetic cyborg creature. I've got to watch.
Oh, it was foreshadowing that he would be Black Adam and face off with Superman. Yeah, okay, I can see that, little illusion. And plus, like, he was developing the Black Adam film for like 20 years, I think, prior to when it came out. So that's a good Easter egg. Yeah, for sure.
And as bad as Black Adam did, it made $400 million.
I love Black Adam.
I love Black Adam so much.
Yeah, go watch my review.
Rhea bought it for me, my 4K.
Oh man, Aldous Hodge. Sorry, am I mispronouncing?
Eldris.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. Like, oh my gosh, his character, like that actor in particular, for sure. And now he's doing a TV. Yeah, he's doing a TV adaptation of the Alex Cross character. So yeah. Big fan of him. I hope we see him again in the DCU. Oh, go ahead.
Did you guys start Cross?
Not yet. I know it's on Amazon, so yeah, I haven't started it yet, but it looks really good. But yeah, so like there's another really awesome show that Max has been encouraging me to watch that has a black male protagonist as well. I think it's called From. Max
From is an amazing series. Larry Korkowitz, a good friend of the channel, recommended. It's a horror series. I'm new to horror. I'm embraced horror. Well, first off, my wife is checked out of superhero movies. Deadpool and Wolverine, she's like, I'm done. That was a lot of fun. I had a blast, and I'm done. And she loves horror. And then Rhea, Bruce, little movie perp, they all love horror. And then I've recently becoming a VHS collector. And I was just leaving the horror for the longest time. I'm like, no, I got to give this more. Yes, Bruce, I get scared easy.
I'm with you.
But From that, it has he's probably my favorite character, is the main guy that Ray is talking about. He's also from Lost, and that's an amazing series, and he's a really strong character too. I highly recommend. The least you say, it's one of those series that it's a hard sell to other people, because the least you say about it, the better, because it's like you don't really know what you're getting when you first watch it.
I like hearing that.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up, because like another big component, Chill, of your channel is representation, especially of original Black characters, and even like adaptations of popular characters with Black actors. So I would love to hear your thoughts.
Let me add to it though. It's also like racially agnostic in From, because I did watch the first episode. It just wasn't for me. I don't like horror. I don't like old ladies at the window. But I'll give it a shot.
I don't like them either, but watching it at a show's interesting.
People like Max and Perp are making me have to go revisit it, and Onzo also. So, because anyways.
Perp Minded. Yes, Perp Minded. Friend of the channel. Yeah.
Yes. What was I saying just now? I was just saying, like, it's racially agnostic. Like, I don't need to watch a slave movie. It's got Black representation as lead, or something that happens in the past where it's a story about how they fought through oppression and they told off the boss, and I don't want to see you at the cafeteria getting denied seconds because you're Black. I just don't want to be entertained with themes of negative tropes, of stereotypes and of dehumanizing quality like treatment. And From doesn't give you that. He's like what, the sheriff of his little town, right? The sheriff.
Yeah.
Well, we can ask for it. No one's going to
He's
talk about how.
he is in charge.
Yeah.
I don't want to say like, yeah, he's in charge of a lot of group of people. He's well respected. Most of the main storylines surround him. And yes.
And there's no themes of hate. There's no cop arresting him to begin the movie like the one with Aaron Pierre. What was it called? Rebel Ridge, was it? The beginning of Rebel Ridge.
I liked Rebel Ridge.
I liked it too, but it was a movie that had to deal with racist ass cops dealing with a black man. And I'm trying to avoid that by all means.
You think that's a easy thing Hollywood does, is just go to that storyline for it's easier for them instead of thinking of a more interesting way to have representation? It's it's a laziness thing from Hollywood's doing.
Maybe it's not laziness. Maybe it's they can't see it any other way. They go, oh, black. That must mean that there's going to be this thing. There's going to be the cops. There's going to be a fatherless home, or there's going to be Rhea, I know. She's like shaking her head like this stuff. But yeah, like for example, the Ironheart TV show, there's no comic book precedence of Riri Williams building a suit and then talking to the criminals and doing some shady stuff to make a little money. That's not in the comics, but for some reason, the little trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think you're on mute again. Sorry.
Oh, you just have to unmute it. Go. Oh, okay. There you go.
The trailer we saw for Ironheart.
Oh, it sounds better now.
The trailer that we all saw for Ironheart, it was like her asking Anthony Ramos's character about crimes and whether she'll do it or not. It was terrible representation, but it's a black lead, right? And it's female, so check. It's not clicking with these guys. Maybe because they can't view a black story without it, which is shameful because they did Black Panther in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of in my opinion, disservice to even like original black characters where, to your point, Chillmonger, like there's a strong emphasis, unfortunately, on like, like the socioeconomic, suffering of in real time of, black folks, especially in America. And as important and challenging as those conversations are, and like, necessary for us to have those, there's more to the black experience than, our suffering. So I definitely resonate, and that's what I value about your content as well. You're willing to have those difficult conversations and welcome other, black voices onto your channel to have those discussions too, because a big reason I also am a fan of your content is because you're a big component into not only having these conversations, but inviting other content creators like Ashley the Widow, K-Dots, Enzo, Perp Minded, and other voices as well that I wouldn't have met otherwise. And Second Street Marvel as well. Just like, very just like enriching, diverse conversations where not everyone agrees with each other. And I'm like, this is amazing because there's always this, misconception of, all black creators feel like, the same about this particular issue. Yeah. And that we all don't subscribe to, the same mindset or, patterns of thinking too. So I just wanted to, clap you up and give you your flowers for that.
Thank you very much. Max, your turn.
Oh, I've been actually dancing around how to talk about this specific, but she just gave you props on challenging hard topics. I struggle with this specific topic, and you referred to it earlier in the stream where you're talking, Rhea mentioned colorism or when an actor is cast, because how do we, and I'm asking you both how to handle this topic. How do you handle both? Be respectful to people that want representation. For, like you said, Storm should be someone, hopefully an actress from Kenya, and but also be respectful for people that are applying for the job that have been mixed race. How can you be respectful of both categories? Because I want to be respectful to everyone, and I want people to get that representation. But I don't know how to even answer that question. Like, how do you?
Jon Stewart casting for sure.
Yeah, yeah, because people were very critical that, oh, here we go again. He's not as dark as some people would like, and I feel uncomfortable in that conversation, even bringing it up. But how do you do that? How do you be respectful both? But you do need it is so important to you, and a lot of people representation have been waiting for that. But I honestly, like, I think I look at this actor and I think he does an amazing job in Rebel Ridge, and I think he'd be a great Jon Stewart. So I struggle with this question. Hopefully you can help me, or people like me that struggle with this question.
Well, I agree with that part you said at the second part with Aaron. And by the way, I'm not the be-all end-all correct. This is my opinion. Rhea has an opinion. Max has an opinion. Yeah. Aaron Pierre is capable of acting. That's correct. He should not have been invited to the audition room because not because of how light his skin is, but because of how dark Jon Stewart's skin is. You are playing a character that in fiction is consistently depicted this way. I don't want an inconsistent depiction of the Jon Stewart Green Lantern character for a few movies here, and then it's someone dark skin later on down the road, and it's someone with lighter skin. Let's get it accurate, just because that's an existing character. But if he was auditioning for some other character where we don't have a color artist who intentionally made, like Neil Adams intentionally made Jon Stewart that dark, I got no problems. So if I don't know, James Cameron in Avatar 3, he needs to cast a human, right? I'm not gonna go, well, why did you get Aaron Pierre instead of getting someone darker like Idris? I don't care. It's all representation. I'm not saying Aaron Pierre isn't black enough. I'd never say something like that. It's only in this case because that's a comic book character that exists with a look. So let's make him look like the look. Respect the character enough to get him to look that way. And Max and Rhea maybe can agree with this. Our skin tones, we're a little bit darker than Max's is. But if we were even darker, our life experiences would be more different also. Like our school teachers would give us less tolerance. The system would treat us different just on how dark we are, even though we're dark enough. You get it? Or maybe you don't get it, but that's my thing.
Okay.
No, I definitely that resonates with me a lot because as someone who is Black, multi-ethnic, as soon as I announce that to anyone, their entire demeanor and personality and tone around me changes, which is unfortunate because it should be consistent to me as a human being, but it is something that definitely defines the Black experience, where there is a noticeable inconsistency in treatment of whether it be microaggressions or just subconscious, responses to our presence and, our existence that does exist. So I completely, agree with you there.
Pull up the Aaron Pierre thing about he's been depicted multiple ways.
Just the kind of segue about, just like our skin tones and, how it kind of subconsciously, makes or breaks, our experience as just folks who exist as Black folks and multi-ethnic folks and etc. who are of Black descent. So
okay, 100%. Do you want me to pull this one up, Chillmonger?
I just want to tell him that in the multiple ways that the variety of shades of brown have happened, those are wrong. It's incorrect every single time. It's gone too light. This guy has a look. Thankfully, most of the time he is drawn dark as he's supposed to be, the way the creator Neil Adams intended. Every other time they've done it, I'm sure you can find a little picture here and there where the comic book colorist didn't put too much thought into it, and the editor didn't tell him not to do that. I'm sure you can find some pictures of a lighter Jon Stewart. Yes, they exist.
Yeah, I know Kingdom of Nerds, Brucifer, he's a big friend of the channel of me and Max for sure. And he's a big comic book head for sure. And another, very significant and prolific comic creator content creator who is also, Black. So I definitely would love to, hear his thoughts on this topic later on. But this is your show. So, we want to highlight, your voice and opinions.
Sure.
Okay, can I ask Bruce to follow me?
Yeah. And I respect everyone's opinions here. I also want to be so cognizant of people that are. My mind goes to people that are multiple races, and I feel weird saying like when you were saying shouldn't be considered. That's hard for me to grasp.
I would consider them for the characters that exist in our fiction who are multi-race, and if there's not enough of them, let's create them. Let's be on the ass of James Gunn and Kevin Feige and say, hey, popularize one of these characters. There's a character in this franchise and he's not being used very much, but he is of that lighter skinned variety. Let's do it.
I do think that both Marvel and DC, where they've had successes, they have not, even though they promote with their marketing representation, that they have, like, I was so excited to see the great version of Cyborg. I don't know how you feel about Zack Snyder's Justice League, but one of my favorite parts, I know people don't particularly like Ray Fisher's social media activity, but I think he was an amazing cyborg, and they've consistently let down some of these awesome characters just waiting.
I liked Cyborg. I liked Zack Snyder's Justice League. I liked all of it. I'm a fan. I'm not.
Oh, okay.
You have to really do something to offend me, like kill the greatest black superhero ever, to make me not be a fan of the movie franchise anymore.
Okay.
Oh yeah, subtle jab at Black Panther. Yeah. So Max, I guess like not to steer away from Chillmonger,
Sure.
Interview, but I guess like a good example from my end would be if someone let's say like Zoe Kravitz auditioned for the role of Storm and she actually gets the role. That would be, in my opinion, an egregious, act of just blatant, disrespect for not only the character, but just, the intelligence of the audience as well. And the willingness to like actually trust that the audience is going to respond favorably to an accurate depiction of that character on screen. Yeah.
Does it, some of it come from the history of Hollywood and how they've potentially like exploited people of mixed race and say this is a black person when they're multiple races to make it more appealing to white people too? Is that part of it? I hope I'm not saying it incorrectly, but like like Halle Berry's she's an amazing black woman, but she is also, I think, a little bit lighter, and this is a black woman she's consistently using past. I love the VHS era, so back then she was the go-to black lady for when you get a role, and maybe not going to other actresses available or actresses that are there that have different features, or like in Asian people, they might get an Asian person that is a mixed race too, because of the slightly different eye features. Is that part of that, where that come from? Is the history of Hollywood? Is this where some of this argument's coming from?
Rhea.
Oh, I was going to mention, like, no, Angela Bassett should have been Storm. Just saying. I just want to, put that in there. Anyway, Chillmonger, go ahead.
I'll say that there are different cases, different arguments. In the Jon Stewart thing, where there's already a character and you're depicting that character, like, I don't want to hear it. Or Storm, I don't want to hear it. Halle Berry should not have been invited to the audition room, or Zoe Kravitz and all that stuff. But Hollywood has made the like beauty, you're prettier because you're closer to what a white woman is. So
that's what I guess that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, like okay. they use
and they'll straighten the hair instead of having anything with kink in it, which is cool. That Teyonah Parris, who plays Photon, Teyonah Parris, she said in an interview after Captain Marvel 2, she said in an interview, I asked to make my hair the way that it is right now, and like, they were accommodating, and we made sure that my hair was the hair that is natural, and she was all for it. And she's beautiful, but we don't see enough beauty that is dark. The beauty that we see, the Beyonce's, the women, Sierra, the Tanashi right now, Ice Spice, the sexy black women usually have lighter skin. The ones that were presented to us, Halle Berry type, and I really don't want to ramble, but I noticed that.
No, you're not. This is on point. Yeah, to your point, there is an emphasis on highlighting black entertainers and black actresses, but leaning more on the emphasis of presenting them in, I guess, and this is not the best word to pick, but a palatable format where it's like easier to consume for other audiences, specifically, maybe like non-black audiences. So like I like to think of like Will Smith as like everyone's like every white person's favorite black actor, because like he's just like a very like he's extremely palatable. He's very like, appealing, but I wouldn't say that, he's the most, prolific and, active voice in, black entertainment and pop culture. I would probably say Denzel is, but yeah, that's just, my 2 cents on that.
Well, Denzel's in Black Panther 3.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah. Yes. What do you like? Let's get into it.
Please, if I come across stupid or ignorant or anything, I'm just trying to understand. It's very complex, some of your criticisms, so that's why I was trying to dance around it. I honestly at the beginning,
what makes things complicated to me and pisses me off is sometimes someone will say the wrong thing right now. Like sometimes people will say he's not black enough. And if you say that kind of stuff about an actor, like, no, that's not the point. Like,
I've heard that a lot on social media. Yes.
Pause. He's not black enough is not a problem. That's not a thing. I've never thought that about Aaron Pierre playing Jon Stewart. Like, I've never kicked him out of a racial demographic or like it's just that's what Jon Stewart looks like. And this is what Aaron Pierre looks like. And they're not the same. And I hate that the proximity to whiteness sometimes is more favorable to these casting directors. And that's where the colorism comes in for this situation here. I'm not saying he's not black, and I'm not wishing him not success. Now that he has been casted, as much as I disagree with him even being invited to audition, as much as I don't like that, now that he's been casted, I have to wish for the best for his.
You're still going to give him a shot,
of course.
Okay, cool. Because I know a lot of people have been waiting for Jon Stewart to get his shot. In a mainstream feature film or it's series. He'll probably be in the feature films later, but mainstream live action version of Jon Stewart besides Justice League and on Justice League Unlimited, which I loved. Yeah.
You think, Max, depending on the success of Lanterns, we'll know if we get a movie with Jon Stewart Green Lantern?
I think if I trust enough in James Gunn that if this series has been through development hell, that if it's coming to HBO, you're guaranteed that James Gunn is going to have Jon Stewart in the movies, along with also because he has the other Lanterns too. But yes, I think for sure, regardless of the success of the Lanterns, yes.
Will he star in a movie? Like, will he lead it? Because of course he'll be a member of the Justice League. We've got Hal Jordan, who's going to be 60, so he's the premier Green Lantern. But will he be in a movie that he leads, or will he be a member of crossover?
A series on HBO is different from a series on any other stream. They're not just saying this is they're saying this is a HBO series. They're putting a lot of money behind this, a lot of production power. This is they also got who else did they get for Lanterns? The other actors. My impressions are that this is going to be high value series that I don't even like. It's going to be, I'm assuming it's going to be so well put together that maybe like, do we even need a movie? We want season 2 of Lanterns, I mean, I see him. I mean, I guess if you're wanting the ultimate goal for him to be represented in his own movie, I understand that. But I think they're giving him his fair shot, this character here. Okay.
It is what I was saying. That's what I was saying. It's the premiere. A movie is the best representation, the best amount of resources that can be given. Even though Max are known to back up the Brinks truck for their shows, I get that. It's still not a movie. And the utmost respectful thing to do would be put out the movie.
I really wish James Gunn would address the Static Shock, because they've been hinting at this for years, and it's just been dancing around, and I wish they could find a place for him in his version, besides Jon Stewart. And I want to see Cyborg back too.
Yeah, definitely.
No. Just because it wouldn't work anymore. Although he's my favorite Cyborg. I've seen Cyborg in Teen Titans and the animated stuff. Ray Fisher's version's my favorite. But yeah, it won't work anymore.
Yeah. No, definitely. And like perfect segue to or kind of circling back to, depictions of even like, legacy characters, and Chill, you kind of like touched on this as well, where characters are depicted in, you know, mainstream media or like a major project for, like actresses of different races, especially like of Black descent, who are on screen for and casted as popular characters who might have traditionally been depicted, whether it be like in animation or live action, as white or a different race. Probably more common to see this depiction in like uh in current media for sure. Like I'm thinking of like Little Mermaid, for example, and Wonder Man. I think you mentioned some feedback around that, and Captain America. Although, like Falcon does become Captain America legitimately in the comics, but you do have like a lot of like strong feedback around that these characters are given these mantles, or like these actors are given these mantles of depicting these legacy characters, but it's off of the back of like an IP that is going to always consistently be in other media and more popularly known, like for a character
Just
who
pull up the
or
meme,
actress who's not of Black descent. Sorry, that was a very clunky way to say
And
it.
I got the photos, I got the pictures to do it. Race swaps never last. In '05,
Okay.
we had the Human Torch be played by our wonderful Chris Evans, and he even played him in Deadpool Wolverine, right? Okay, 10 years later, here's Michael B. Jordan. So everyone, let's pretend it's 10 years ago. Wow, what great representation! Finally, Black kids can look up to see a superhero looks just like that. 10 years later, look what happens. Joseph Quinn, he's the new Human Torch. So what's not happening is the building blocks of a foundation is being set. That's not happening. All we see is a band-aid solution. Look, we got representation. And it sucks that in 2015, Michael B. Jordan could have been spending his valuable time, right? He's a resource. And there's finite amount of resources. 20th Century Fox, who produced this film, they have a limit, a tolerance of Black actors and Black projects that they do. And unfortunately, one of the few spots that was taken was used up on a white character. Like, it got us nowhere in the long term. This is temporary representation. And I think that's the damage of it. I know that there are YouTubers who will not mention right now that are going to say, hi, Justin, what's up? There's going to be YouTubers going, I'm
going to say sometimes it works though.
I know that sometimes it works and sometimes the performance.
Perry White is now consistently a Black man, and he's in Lawrence Fishburne and Man of Steel is amazing. One of my favorite Perry Whites. I do agree most of the time it's exactly what you're showing here.
But what makes Perry White? What makes Perry White this outlier that it was worth mentioning to me? Because the point for me was the foundation isn't being set; it's all going to be removed. Don't you think? Do you think Perry White stays like Lawrence Fishburne forever or Wendell Pierce forever? Like, don't you think that somewhere down the line they'll just cast a white guy to play him in a TV show and a cartoon?
I think now with what James Gunn's cast, I forget the actor. What's the actor's name now?
Wendell Pierce.
Wendell Pierce. I've seen him in other things too. I think he's such a strong. I think it might stay that way, because the consistent quality of how they're the character in how they're included in those movies.
So I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'll give you that 10 out of 10 performance from Wendell Pierce. He makes it so that you think of Perry White, you don't think white. You think of a dark skinned Black man. I'll give you that. Now, what does that do to that crowd, that racist crowd who go, we're being replaced? Just look. Like, I don't want them to have proof to be able to like point at, to call to their I don't want them to be correct when they're trying to convince other people that, all these Blacks, all representation really just means exclusion of you. It's called inclusion, but it's exclusion. Watch our channel instead. I don't want them to grow in numbers, and this is providing ammunition to that fire. And again, one day somewhere down the line, there will be, no matter how good Perry White is with Wendell Pierce, maybe even 20 years from now, they recast, they reboot, and it's still a Black actor. 40 years from now, someone's going to say.
I do think you have a really strong point of, like, if you're looking for representation and just doing some of these castings, that they could be putting all that energy into building up a character that's been waiting to be represented instead of just. I do see that.
Bingo, we got him.
Hopefully, we get to a point in the future where it becomes less of an issue, where there's both, where there's characters that are represented Black that have been waiting to get their representation in mainstream movie media, and also characters that, well, we decided to go different with this one, and you'll get both. But I think what potentially you may be seeing here is that even though Hollywood promotes that we're doing this representation, a lot of the majority is what your argument is we'll switch it and get that built in a momentum of the character instead of from the ground up, which costs more money, more time to build a character up, that the mainstream doesn't know about, at least. Like, for example, Static Shock.
For example, Black
mainstream
Panther
doesn't know about Static. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Black Panther. Yeah.
And Proton. Yeah, like I don't like that they kind of pivoted to calling Captain America Proton. Although, like, I get it, it's like, canon, and you kind of have to differentiate between Captain Marvel, and Proton. Yeah. Sorry, Photon. Sorry, I apologize. But yes, like that's kind of like another thing similar to the Captain America, Falcon, name swap, and traditionally who we're gonna, associate these characters with, in other media. So I just wanted to throw that example.
I would love the movie to be called Falcon Brave New World over Captain America Brave New World. I think it'd be more empowering to let the audience know that this guy that was called Falcon and he was a sidekick back in the days, now he's just like Ant-Man and Deadpool and Doctor Strange, and he's just like Thor. He gets to be a title of his own movie. So I'm for Falcon. You guys?
I love Sam Wilson's story so much, and then some of the criticisms that you may or other people may have that they just made a Captain America Black man now, I think was actual handled in story so beautifully.
Sure.
And then those scenes where he says, where Isaiah Bradley, oh, I love that character, and they'll never let a Black man wear this. That covers so much pull from real life and why he wasn't chosen for the Captain America program to begin with. There's so much interesting things about that character that I am so on board for him to be the new Captain America. I understand that Falcon is also a great character, though, and I understand that there's some people looking for that. And they kind of skip past some of that Falcon stuff. So I'm open to hear your argument for sure. But I'm personally, I love that arc. And I think they handled some of the criticisms even within the show, not in the movies so much. The movies are just pretty much, you had this Captain America, the Avengers, and then you're getting this Captain America. But
I'd say however compelling the story is, I don't want to argue this, but my one little thing is, we told the audience that when Sam Wilson starts donning the skin, the attire of a white man, and uses that franchise, now he's worthy of getting a movie. That's what we've taught the audience there. Anthony Mackie wasn't starring in anything but a TV show before he started calling himself Captain America.
Oh, I don't want to. I can see that.
Yeah.
So we won't give him a Falcon movie, but we'll give him Captain America once he makes. Okay.
Yeah, Max. All you got to do is abandon your roots.
All right. I see that.
I do love Kingdom of Nerds Brucifer's comment here. I'm just going to, highlight it and speak it into existence. Everyone they introduce new Black characters, they aren't supported. It's not like they haven't put new Black characters in comics. People don't buy it. And this is an unfortunate, kind of circumstance where another, awesome, prolific content creator, friend of the channel, the Sci-Fi Center, William Powell, who, I would love to get his thoughts on this discussion too, but yeah, like this is kind of a consensus. This is like known for a lot of pop culture and media consumers like us that, you know, it is unfortunate, especially like with the discussion around like Ironheart, for example. But she kind of is taking on the mantle of Iron Man because it's kind of boosting her legitimacy with fans. But it's still frustrating because she is an original character. But it just, you know, for me, I would love to have seen just to your point, an original character who doesn't have to be qualified by, you know, a character that, you know, has traditionally been known as white and who has like more legitimacy and popularity with the non-Black audiences. But yeah.
Over to the side, though, I was pulling up a video that's relevant to that complaint. I'm not ignorant. I put together. Oh my God, my ads are playing on my own thing. But I put together a video talking about how these Black comic books are destined for cancellation. If you look at some of the sales data right here, if you look at some of the sales data, it's very, very, very tiny. But the final issue of Blade, which was canceled at issue number 12, was somewhere around 15,000. Blue Marvel, issue 5, they didn't even sell 10,000 units. And that's cancellation territory. The Static Shock from 2012, that comic book, issue number 8, it was canceled. There was only 10,000 units being sold. So, and if you don't know this, everyone, if you're not selling 15,000 units, your comic will be canceled by Marvel and by DC. So in this video, I kind of went through and I was talking about how we are not supporting the comics. Ironheart, there were only 9,000 issues when they got to 12, and they canceled the comic at issue number 12. We are so I know that point. I get it, and I advocate for focus on Storm and focus on Black Panther. And if you have the money, buy 2 issues. You know, it's like gerrymandering. You can vote twice in your district. Buy 2 issues. Ensure that these characters get it through. Don't pick up Falcon. Don't pick up, you know, Night Thrasher. Don't worry about those guys. They're destined for failure. Just the money you are going to go and give to those Black characters, just concentrate the effort, and we can actually get a comic continue and not be canceled, you know, by the 3rd trade paperback. So yes, I know what you're talking about when you tell me that, sir.
Yeah, totally. And that's actually a good point that you mentioned that chart. Especially, I zoned in on, you know, some of the characters who had fluctuating, you know, sales and unfortunately got their comic series canceled. But with Blade, that's actually like an awesome topic I wanted to get your thoughts on because I'm so like, you know, I've been such, you know, so gung-ho about this character, especially like Mahershala Ali. Like, you know, I apologize, I'm mispronouncing his name, but yes, like, you know, I was all for it. You know, obviously Wesley Snipes, you know, is like, you know, the Blade, like, especially for me, but I'm open to seeing this specific character on screen again. You know, I want to see more stories. I want to see more adaptations. He's just so badass, like, you know, as a character. So I wanted to get your thoughts around, you know, just the general treatment of him in recent years.
Yeah, he's like an Oscar award winner. I think in 2019 Comic-Con, they wanted to really surprise someone like, no one heard this. All right, come on the stage, Mahershala. And unfortunately, the movie hasn't happened yet. And the delays, even now, they said that it's not going to come in November. Unfortunately. Yeah, you saw the news. So what I think about it is what you think about it. What else can I say? I'll give them, though, that they just wanted a shock value, and they probably weren't right to announce that movie. They was not right for them to do that in 2019 Comic-Con, but they did. So
he's the character, one of the characters that started all this, actually making comic books and that pop culture. Blade was really innovative for its time.
He's the father of the MCU. Yes, yeah. Indisputably.
What do you want to happen now, though? Do you want him to move on from Mahershala or just wait for him?
I want Mahershala because he's Mahershala Ali. So yes, I want.
Yeah, he's an amazing actor. Okay.
Yeah, there's this gosh, I don't like this discussion around, oh, they're too old, or by the time this project, you know, comes out, they'll be too old. I'm like, no, they won't, you know, like, you don't, like, not to, like, you know, lean on, you know, de-aging technology or, you know, physical aptitude or anything like that. There are other ways and more, you know, like thoughtful, not provocative, but, you know, ways that, you know, you can incorporate this actor and their talents in a way that, you know, honors these characters. And it doesn't always have to, you know, lean on, you know, the spectacle of seeing them, you know, do fantastic physical things on screen. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that too.
Oh, I have the opposite. I say he is too old, but he's going to wear a trench coat and sunglasses, so we could probably have a stunt actor do all the fancy stuff.
I mean, what did you think of Wesley Snipes as in character as Blade in Deadpool and Wolverine? Because I thought he looked pretty badass, and yeah, he's older than.
Still has it.
Yeah, he's still got it. I would love to see him.
He looked like he still has it more than Tyson had and still yesterday.
Oh, we got to talk about that too. Thank you for the reminder, Max. But yeah, like
I like Tyson,
but yeah, so like, okay, those are your thoughts. Some actors are just too damn old to, have it like be taken seriously on screen. But yeah, like, we're coming up on an hour, but yes, I want to get your thoughts again on this topic.
Okay, look, he's too old, but we need him because if he's not doing it, they'll make Blade a member of the Midnight Suns. I want him to star a Blade movie.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, would that be a bad thing? But yes, like he needs his own platform.
Your consistent criticism that they should be a featured character in their own movie and not just in an ensemble or not given that full push like Black Panther was. Black Panther got a full big push, right?
So. Past tense. Yeah, he got a big push.
I mean, are you somewhat optimistic about, the Disney Plus series coming out that are, kind of Wakanda focused? Are you seeing it more as like signs that they're deviating from, even mentioning T'Challa? Like they're leaning more on the other characters. Is that how you feel?
I feel it's a bit arrogant. I feel we can still make money with the franchise. We don't need him. So we'll do some stuff around Black Panther without the Black Panther. We'll have his sister be the Black Panther. We'll go back in time to show his grandfather Panther. We'll do everything but actual T'Challa. We'll give you Junior, and you can enjoy the T'Child, everybody. But T'Challa, no.
T'Child.
I did not like how they named his son after him. I'm just, oh God, I was so annoyed in the theater.
My thoughts on it. I know we're going to get yours, Chillmonger. My thoughts on it is you drew from sometimes real life is tragic and beautiful too. And some of the best heroes in history are not here long. And sometimes you're more impactful after you're gone than when you're here. And he is a great character. He's a great hero. But seeing how I don't believe it was just PR when what's the director's name?
Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler, when they thought about how they wanted to go, that they really love Chadwick Boseman, and then they also thought this would be the best for the character, and he is in a way recast, but I know people have extreme critiques with that. I just think the lightning and the unfortunate circumstances of Chadwick Boseman's passing, and then dealing with this character and how real life could impact the story too, was I don't want to say opportunity, but a way to make even elevate the story further. I don't mean like to exploit potentially, but to draw from the real life tragedy to show how you can even be impactful when you're no longer here. And I think it was beautiful after watching it a few times, but I understand that I value your criticisms of it. I'd love to hear it.
Everything you're saying, I can agree with. Beautiful tribute. Oh my God, real life influencing art. I understand it. Someone said right here, figure drawing says Chadwick Boseman was like a real life superhero for so many people. That sounds like he's trying to justify the erasure of him. To that, he's a superhero to so many people. This is Derek Boseman. Play.
How would you feel if they recasted T'Challa?
I would have been fine with it. Yeah, I would have been fine with it because Chad was not him and he wasn't Chad. Chad was Chad. T'Challa is just a character. When Christopher Reeves had the accident, they didn't stop having Superman.
That's true.
They just got somebody else to play the role of Superman. I think that the role was far too important, and it was bigger than just one person because of the effect that it had on Black children.
He goes a little bit longer, but that's the point though. I'm just like measuring up the representation, the benefits of it, and this wasn't Falcon, this wasn't Riri, this was the greatest black representation that there's ever been. He's the best representative ever. And I don't think we drop that for all the reasons you say, as beautiful as it may be, tribute and all that stuff. I don't think we dropped that. And I don't think Chadwick would have wanted this character gone. He was contributing to the script, knowing he's got cancer, and the studio didn't know how sick he was. But he's knowing this, and he's like, hey, do this, add this. And he's offering his inclusion. So as soon as he's gone, you also erase everything he was while he was living, was putting into the movie. I think that, he's not some selfish guy. Like Superman, you treat him like the white characters, and you make it so that we always get him. Adam West, we look back and we are grateful for his contributions to Batman. We're thankful Michael Keaton walked so that Val Kilmer and George Clooney and Kevin Conroy offered his voice to the character. We have all these examples, but when it comes to the Black Panther, like, he was kicked out of XMen 97. He wasn't like that. That's just a different standard we have. I want Black Panther to be what those white guys are, and it's a very unfair, no matter what honest intentions were or impulse emotions were, it's a different standard, and that's not right with me.
Okay. So even though I think eventually you're gonna get the kid probably become an older T'Challa, but not a different T'Challa, the son of T'Challa. But you have to wait though, because they chose this. You have to wait for that.
I'll address that after this. Members from Rational Skeptic.
Yeah, so Rational, big fan of him or them as, a person. Marvel Studios were hoping it would have the Dark Knight effect when Ledger passed away. Yeah, capitalizing, on real world sorrow,
Okay.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, like there's like a lot of like
Max brought up TJ. So the kid, his name is T'Challa, that's his name in Haiti is Toussaint, his name in Wakanda is T'Challa. I don't accept that as a substitute. I don't like the hot potatoing of the mantle. It goes to his sister, it goes to his son, who goes to go to next time. We don't do that little mantle game with any other superhero. Again, it's 3 Spider-Man movies, and now we're getting a 4th. Like, we don't play around with that. All I'm looking for is the same treatment, and it's inconsistent.
Okay.
The mantle stuff is, I'll never be okay with it. I don't like mantle stuff even outside of Black Panther franchise. I like when people are their own brand. X-23 is not Wolverine.
Right, but to your point, like, and what our discussion was about is, or one of the points that we were making is that there's this, need to have certain characters have the residual sort of acceptance and branding of another character, whether it be like, an influencer or, kind of they're the protege of, in order to kind of like raise their legitimacy and make them more palatable to general audiences. So I did want to like, yes, X-23 is not, Wolverine. However, she's made more I guess like more legitimate and more palatable to general audiences because she has that, association.
I'll watch a movie called X-23 starring Laura. I can do it. She's not Wolverine though.
Yeah, totally. I think there are certain characters that made their mark, even though they are proteges or, spin-off characters or whatever. And I totally give those characters and, those actors their flowers for sure.
Like Venom properly spun off of Spider-Man. Robin, he's spun off. He starts calling himself Nightwing, and that's kind of his own thing right now. This happened.
Yeah, these are all really great examples.
Do you think in the future, when you see the whole context, you'll have the same opinions that they should have just recast them right away? I mean, I think they're going to do the best they can now that they've gone this route, but you'll still hold true to those opinions, you think?
You said the words recast him right away, and Mama Bear also said like Christopher Reeve wasn't replaced right away. Yeah, okay, guys, they just shouldn't have killed the character in the sequel. If they would have made a little thing about T'Challa's in space, where's T'Challa? He's busy. If they would have done something like that, man, I would have bought 5 tickets to see the second Black Panther movie. Right? I would have supported that. Yeah, they were.
There's 2 ways that we think that T'Challa might be T'Challa Jr. growing up, or the Secret Wars, they might bring in a different T'Challa then. But it really could have just been as simple as just replace him right away because he's an important character.
Or don't do the
not
movie
let
right away. You could also say our lead actor just died. So guys, we know you were scheduled to return to work in 11 months. Don't do it. We're not going to
Oh, I do agree with the industry is so completely callous on that. They will not change a release date. They will keep a release date regardless.
I also think 11 months is enough to get over the emotional pain of, oh my God, an actor just died. I think in 11 months, these are professionals. They can all act. And the movie we did get had them do some traumatic, sad acting, talking about how their friend just died. And that was a difficult moment for all of the actors. The best thing for them would have been to have a new guy play T'Challa, and they just, pretended for a living and not sit next to each other. Oh my God, he just died, and relived tears,
Yeah, and they definitely have done that with other characters too. When the original actor for who was Terrence Howard. Yeah, they did that with Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
They did that with
they wouldn't give from reports they wouldn't give him what he was asking too, unfortunately.
Right, but like they just did it and didn't really like allude to it or call it out or anything. It wasn't like, something that they had to, create a new character for him or anything like that. So that part, I definitely hear you. And
we're all Star Wars fans. Yeah. We all watched Ray Stevenson die, and he's going to be recast. Dumbledore died with Richard Harris, and Michael Gambon picked it up.
In Marvel, there's General Ross.
Thunderbolt Ross died of cancer. His name was William Hurt. And here comes Harrison Ford. It can happen. They've done it before. It's like I said, like, this is not how you treat the white heroes. So let's,
Yeah, I did want to also agree with you there about, this like they imposed this sense of grief that was, reflective of real world grief in Black Panther 2 that in retrospect, like I understand, the cast, was family or like family with Chadwick Boseman, but in order to, make that film, you didn't have to, rely on, the grief and suffering of the cast and assume that reflected the consensus of, the viewing audience. I'm sure there, were folks who were distraught about it, but for me, for example, I didn't go there to, grieve, with the cast. I already kind of had my, I had my sadness and grief, when the moment, happened and, for the residual sort of like, months and stuff going into it. But yeah, like that moment, I guess, or like that film in general being like sort of like, in honor or in remembrance of Chadwick Boseman or T'Challa, like that's something, that they could have taken that opportunity to have another actor just come in and as hard or difficult as it would have been for the filmmakers and talent, they're not, the studio, they're not, the ones pushing the narrative further with this character T'Challa. So I feel like, as awesome as, the cast and Ryan Coogler are, I do feel like that was, an unfortunate decision that reflected more on like, their own personal feelings and, wanting to execute the film in a certain way rather than, thinking of the fans and what would benefit them as far as continuing to see this significant character in the future.
Hey, Rhea, no one is more closer than Derek Boseman, okay? He's 10 years older than Chadwick. He helped raising him, and he said, I am fine with it. So, like, they don't have to make these supreme proclamations of how much they love Chad. And, okay, we're going to retire the jersey. It'll be in the rafters forever. No one else can play him. Like easy. Think of the representation. Can I ask Max, then, if we...
Okay.
Me and Rhea, team recast, high five, clap. I forgot what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you, why didn't we change your mind? Like, we're bringing all this representation to the plate.
I think you give really strong reasons in that there is examples of them just like recasting. I do think that you have to treat people equally, characters equally. And I do think they treated him different because of the race of the character and of the tragedy. I hope it wouldn't have gone into exploitation. I think I remember behind the scenes that the director, they actually had the script that, like you said, Chadwick was working on it. They actually rewrote it. So I do also respect the creative vision. He felt like he needed do that. I don't, and I like what they delivered, but I completely respect your opinion. I'm not there as like, you've convinced me to change my mind. Well, we're getting what we're getting now. I don't think I don't know how you recast it now.
Oh, Secret Wars is right there. And it's science fiction.
So you're the recast T'Challa movement. You think of opportunity would be Secret Wars to do what? Just say different different multiverse to T'Challa and just bring them in, but that's not. I don't know how you recast them then. I don't understand.
I'll speak for myself, not everybody. You just gotta make because incursions will happen, all the universes will end, right? And then it'll only be Battle World, you know this. When they win, they say, Molecule Man, can you create the universe again, except T'Challa didn't die? Okay, we'll do. Bob's your uncle. Just recast.
All right.
Just a friendly reminder.
Subscribe to Chill.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing your opinions. And that's how actually I know you, is you had some really strong opinions on things I disagree with, but you're respectful, and I appreciate you humoring me with my questions.
This is one of one of the most amazing conversations I think I've had, Max, on your channel, and I appreciate you giving the platform to have it. It's hard.
I was like, I don't know if I want to talk about the Storm is a little bit, darker skin. I didn't know if I want to go there, because I'm also a white guy here talking, to two very intelligent people that are represented by these characters, and I don't want to say the wrong thing.
No. Your intentions are good, and you're listening and you're responding in a way that honors folks' point of view, and you're opening your heart and mind to learn more. So that's all I can ask for personally.
Sure, and then to also go with some other represented people may have a completely different take than you, and then different. We have to. This is something that I think everyone needs to learn, that I've learned over the years. It could actually be potentially prejudiced to think a certain person, because of their ethnicity, should think a certain way, and you should not box people in like that.
Yeah, Max, I'm open to any opinion that you have. Now, if we're talking about eggs and waffles and breakfast, and you bring up race, I'm gonna go, what the fuck? What? But we're literally having a race discussion, so I'm not going to be triggered by something.
No, but I've actually learned that as in my years to doing live streams and stuff. It's something that a lot of us do, and I may have been guilty of that in my past too. You can't really box people in. They're this, so they should think this way. It's really not cool.
No, I'm open to it, man. And if you don't see what I say as fact now, look for a Kenyan actor. There's so many Kenyans in the world that look like that, and part of Storm's history is she's a Kenyan. Find someone from Kenya. If you don't agree with that today, maybe you'll soften to it, or maybe you'll change your opinion later, or maybe you won't at all. It doesn't matter. I'm glad to have you platform me to introduce that thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this conversation's really engaging. The chat is, so I don't want to say, it's just so rich and, different, opinions and, different call outs as well, and really good questions too. So I appreciate y'all in the chat for sure. And my intention isn't to, alienate other folks by, sharing an opinion that, I don't oftentimes, get to share with other people. I try to, pick and choose, my battles a little bit. And, when I do feel like, a space is, appropriate to have these tough discussions, I treasure and value folks like, Chillmonger and Max, who are more than willing to have these discussions. And I hope that, the chat really resonates, with the discussion as well. And it seems like you are. So thank you again for making the space for that.
Oh, cool. And I would remind people in the chat or watching this on clips and replay, even if you don't completely understand every point of view, try to be respectful and try to see where people are coming from too, try hard. We should all try a little bit harder, I think, to examine different points of view. You've certainly give questions to me. I'm gonna, next time I rewatch Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, I will be thinking about these things, and I do that. I really like the movie, so I'm gonna go back and watch it. But I'm like, yeah, I could see his point here. I could see this point of view. I get it.
But yeah, we are coming up at around like 80 minutes or so, more or less. But I just wanted to temp check to make sure we're good on time, because I did have one final question I wanted to wrap up the show with, something more lighthearted and fun and possible and definitely engaging. So yeah, the Tyson and Paul fight, Chillmonger. Like, give us your feedback around it, because I know Max, you were covering it a little bit on your show earlier, but yeah, it's a spicy topic. There's a lot of nuance there. So yeah, give us your take on that.
He's 58 was a trending topic. Buffering was a trending topic. His butt was a trending topic.
I like that part. That was hilarious. I love that happened.
I don't know. Was that planned? You guys think?
I hope my ass looks that good at that age. That's what I thought. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I don't know if that was
let's get people invested. Let's get people thinking about the pay-per-view. People will tweet about this. It'll make them all watch. It was planned. But what I thought about the fight for the first round, it was interesting. And I'm like, ooh, here's Mike Tyson. And then each round, it got worse. At the third round, I think he started out with a whole bunch of fury of punches because he thought, this is it for me. If I can't do it now, I'll be winded. And we got nothing. Jake Paul didn't have anything in him to knock out Tyson, but Tyson got paid $20 million.
I heard that he might have got paid more for going a certain amount of rounds. Tyson.
Okay. I don't
know. I don't know if that's accurate or not. So that
sounds true.
Okay. Well, someone told me Netflix went to him and said, "How much would it cost you to fight Jake Paul?" And he said 20. And then they went to Jake. "How much would it cost you to fight Mike Tyson?" And he said 40. And so they both get paid. No matter, there's no winner purse, loser purse. They got paid what they got. Jacob McKenzie.
Oh man, I need a source. Oh man, but I mean, I believe it. Like, I wonder how the viewership was. I don't know if there were numbers released or not, but yeah, that would be.
Here's my thoughts. I thought it would be more epic than it was. Although it was nice to see Mike in the ring again, and he's still, for his age, he's really good for what he's got, and he, sometimes boxing matches, sometimes these things could be a little bit boring too after a certain point.
I kind of agree with you, because like Mayweather, I'm really excited whenever, I get to, see a fight, or, I'm always rooting for him for sure. But yeah, he kind of has this formulaic, only have to get so many hits in and then you win by default. Like, you don't necessarily go in with everything to, it's your last fight ever. So there is some calculation there. I do think there's a business incentive for, the amount of, quote unquote work or, showmanship. But yeah, in the middle of boxing match, it does get a little boring, especially because there's so much calculation and technicalities on how a person can win. So yeah, I agree with you there.
Max, I'm really glad that he wasn't knocked down. No one wants to be knocked down on the internet. No one.
I did not mean to put that on. I thought that was another clip from your channel.
That wasn't me.
No, that was Chill. I thought he was going to show another clip from his channel, but damn, I was rickrolled, or yeah.
You did a great job. Dude, you did a great job.
No one wants to be knocked down, but I am glad he was not knocked down. Nothing too embarrassing. He wasn't.
I'll tell you what, Rhea, if there's a bar like that next time we're at an event I'll get on the hole for you.
Oh, it'll be epic. Yeah. Definitely going to do it again. That was hella fun for sure.
I do have one more quick question too, that I was going to try to propose it's a cool question, I think, for all of our guests on Have You Met series. And I love this series because I love that's one me and Rhea have bonded over. She actually corrected me in the chat. She said, "I'm not being fair to people with different opinion," years ago. And I'm like, all right, Rhea, I'll give him a shot. And that's how I got to know more people. Is honestly, Ray actually kept me out of some problems with a specific video game console. It's like, okay, let me hear what the other side has to say. But I thought a cool question would be, if you could pick one, what's in your playlist, watch list, or bucket list? I know you don't like to go into personal details of something you'd like to accomplish in the future, but maybe what you're listening to that's a hot track, or that's something that you love from the past, or what's in your watch list that you're watching now, if you might want to pick one of those.
My watch list is cross, but no, let me give you the bucket list.
Okay.
I would, it's a dream to wrestle in the WWE. That is a dream.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would love to do it. I'm very far from that dream. I'd also want for my comic book to sell and,
That's
become
something you're working on your bucket
yes.
list. Yeah.
So that's like my goal right now is both of those things. I'm in the gym a little bit, just a little bit. I'm in the gym, and I'm also writing and creating and always in constant contact with my artist. So my bucket list is to have exactly what I complain about and hit record and start doing reviews about. I'm going to create that fiction where death is meaningful and all the things that we all roll our eyes at, I don't do in my fiction. It's going to take place in space, and there's no one going to mention a single thing about redlining and Jim Crow and all that. It'll just be racially agnostic. There will be no references to hoods and negative things like that. So my goal, on my bucket list, is to get this thing animated and then one day in a film. And skydiving would be cool too, but towards the ending of my life.
Skydiving.
So I'll skydive at the end.
Are you
just
trying
like
that
if
too,
I die?
Raya?
Because if I die,
hell yeah, I would.
Oh, that's on your bucket list too?
Yeah.
Okay. Not me.
Wait, why skydiving specifically?
Because it's crazy. It's you jump out of a plane and
I don't even like to get on planes. Forget it.
You're strapped to someone who is a professional who's going to release the parachute. So I feel like that's boring. I'm like, I want to release my own parachute.
So you'll do the courses.
Yes, yeah, I'll do whatever training or whatever to do it. But it's one of those YOLO, sort of exhilarating experiences that just
both the best. I'll be watching from the ground.
Power Rangers movie ruined it for me. Yeah, I got to do skydiving. There's no life without skydiving is not life.
Yeah, that's definitely on my bucket list too. Oh, and bungee jumping. Yeah, I feel like that's a step before skydiving. If you want to, train yourself to, prepare for that. But that's on my bucket list too.
Bull riding is checked off.
Oh yeah, I want to improve, my bull riding skills for sure. That was a lot of fun. I legitimately had a lot of fun on that. But yeah, Max, you mentioned music playlists as well. I know that's one of your favorite topics.
I love to get. I'm the older I get. Well, I'm not skydiving or bungee jumping, and my bucket list is I want to make it on YouTube. That's about it. But I like embracing. Instead of complaining, my family challenged me when I had some rough times on YouTube. You come back and you talk about the stuff you like. And I've been trying to experience new things, like new genres of movies, new video games, new music. And I even like getting in the cassette tapes. I listen to bands, and I even listen to country music now a little bit because it's on a cassette tape. Because I'm like, oh, all right, I'm embracing this medium of cassette tapes. So is there any bands you could recommend, or any songs or any music you like? That I don't know if you talk about music too much. I'm not sure.
I don't. Old stuff is the best. Or if like Kendrick Lamar drops another diss track against Drake, I'll be there for it.
Okay, Kendrick Lamar. All right.
Yeah. Blake Shelton on The Voice. I saw him enough times where I go, okay, who is he? Let me listen to him. And yeah, that was my country music introductory for like a week. I was listening to all his songs, and then something else would be recommended, and I'm learning about If I Could Be a Cowboy Sweetheart. You know the song?
No, I don't know that one.
Someone in the chat will know.
I'll look that up now.
It's called Cowboy Sweetheart.
Cowboy Sweetheart. Okay.
Yeah, Johnny Cash, all them older.
Oh, I love Johnny Cash. Yeah.
You like him?
Yeah.
What's your favorite Johnny Cash?
Walk the Line, the basic stuff.
Yeah, I love his Prison album. Yeah, I listen to that, and
awesome.
It is. I did. Gosh, I keep thinking of questions, even though we're running over on time. But there was kind of a mini sort of controversy around Luke Combs, a country singer covering Fast Car, when it's traditionally, obviously, Tracy Chapman, got her flowers and Grammy Awards, and that's kind of her peak song that a lot of people know about her. So I kind of wanted to get your take around that. You're not familiar with it? I was like, this is a little interesting conversation. Max, do you have thoughts?
I do. She from appearances, she was happy with it. She made a lot more money because when that happens, and this is a tradition of music, is covering songs. So I think it's a win-win. It got people listening to the original again, and it got people listening to the remake. And then they also did a duet on the Grammys, I think, for that. I think.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Somewhere they sang it together. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think it's a positive. I think as the farther we go, you're gonna be getting these the farther entertainment industry goes and these great musicians, you're like some of the great movies too, some are remakes. Star is Born is one of my favorite movies ever with Lady Gaga, and that's like the third time it was remade. Yes, there they are.
Okay. No, that's a good moment. And
Look at that beautiful moment. She was popular back in the day, but she wouldn't have got that moment if the remake didn't happen.
Yep.
No, I hear what you're saying. And honestly, to your point, I do agree with you, because there are a lot of, Prince hidden gem songs like Nothing Compares to You and When You Were Mine that were made popular by Cyndi Lauper and Sinead O'Connor. Those are hits that kind of took off a little bit more once they covered it. So yeah, to your point, I can see that. So I just wanted to see if Chillmonger had input on that.
I don't know enough, but give the old artists some credit, and everyone's listening to Fantasy again because Lotto used it for her song. Was it Lotto? Someone used it.
Yeah. Well, Mariah Carey's Black. That's another nuanced kind of discussion as well.
You're
I
saying
think
there's a artist taking George Harrison. I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on. He took that one from a black artist maybe 10 years before he made it.
So there is a whole huge discussion about popular music that was taken from some of the original.
Oh yeah, Elvis for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's a big can of worms to open at the end, Ray.
Yeah, no, gosh, I know this is such an enriched, conversation that I'm like,
we could do it again. When you get your comic book, we could try it again.
Yes, yes, amazing. We'll definitely have to do
Ray,
where are they now? Update video
when I got you
or
some
stream
of the Prince tapes. I was really enjoying Prince. My aunt liked Prince a lot when I was growing up, and you're the other big Prince fan. And I'm really enjoying. Yeah,
totally.
I'm diving deep into Prince now too.
Yes, but yeah, I'm a huge Prince head. Okay, yes. So hour and a half. Thank you so much, Chillmonger and Max, for this amazing Saturday night stream. I am so grateful that it happened. But are there any kind of wrap up final thoughts or any questions in the chat that y'all would like to have us highlight for Chillmonger? Definitely open forum. So if you have any questions, definitely type them out, and we'll be sure to call, highlight them.
Mama Bear earlier, she said, what Feige said is that they aren't recasting in the 616. Note, he specified universe. Kevin Feige said the words, we will not recast the character. Nate Moore said, you will not see him in the 616. So just to be particular, it was Nate Moore who said that thing about the 616. He didn't say in the MCU. I get it, but I don't want the variant. I just want a simple recast. The guy Chadwick was playing, everyone acts like it's the same guy again. Make him alive one more time. That's all I'm looking for, a true recast. But no exceptions, no
gimmicks. No gimmicks with it.
No alternate universe. Just recast him. Because what would it look like if a variant comes in Wakanda? Hey guys, I'm your king now, everybody. They're gonna go, who is this stranger? Yeah, I get it. You're from another universe. Go rule that kingdom. You don't know about our kingdom. I don't want 3/5 of a T'Challa. I want a whole T'Challa in my comic, in my movie.
Well, three. Yeah, that even more enriching, topic. Yeah. So but anyway, Max, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I want to slightly address figure drawing. I think the that you're referring to as a joke said that they should get who was the actor that played Ken for the recast?
Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, Ryan Gosling. And come on, that's disrespectful. They're doing it as a joke. I don't think they're actually saying that, but there are a lot of people in the recast the T'Challa movement that aren't doing it for anti-woke narratives, and this just generally want being represented. I think that's something that I would try to steer you in figure drawing, that there's a lot, and I've had to I've had to find that out too. There's a lot in the recast the T'Challa movement that are very passionate, that want it for representation reasons or other reasons too, that aren't just treating it like a joke. And unfortunately, the internet does some of this stuff. It's not respectful to anyone, and it's just for reasons.
Max, I'm not that triggered by the Ryan Gosling Photoshop.
No. I know, but I mean that. Let's be honest. I guess I'm implying to their intentions with it, but a lot of at least that was what I read it from a lot of that.
Yeah, I guess it depends how it was delivered, and then also how you received it. But every time I've seen the joke, very funny. Yep, we'll get Ryan Gosling to play him. That's funny.
Okay.
But yeah, thanks everyone in the chat for participating in the discussion. And again, thank you, Chillmonger, for giving us about, over almost 100 minutes of, your time this evening. Yeah. And Max, thank you for hosting us on your channel. Thank you to folks on X/Twitter who were watching as well. But yeah, I am, I think this is a good way to end the show. But
one more thing. Props to Rhea for putting this all together. She does all the groundwork of contacting people, being friends with a lot of different people, and it's a really a good strength you have with the online community and focusing on positive stuff. So shout out to Rhea for putting these things together, because I'm not good with planning.
No, thank you so much. And so everyone have a great rest of your weekend. Sleep well if it's super late for you. And we'll go ahead and wrap up the show. Or did you have any other things to end on it, Chillmonger? You're good?
I would say thank you, Chillmonger. I appreciate the lively debate and new ideas and opinions. And I that's what I thought, that you stand out from a lot of content creators. I'm like, wow, he really goes it with his opinions and challenges people. So I respect that.
Appreciate it, Max. Back at you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you later. All right. Have a good night / morning.
Bye. We said.
Oh, I'll end it then. I thought you were going to do it. I thought you were going to.